Hi there, it's Jessica Uphoff, and I just wanted to give you a quick update on what we're seeing with interest rates and also my personal opinion on the value of being able to buy a home right this moment in early May of 2024. So, interest rates have remained stubbornly high, and that's because a couple things. One, inflation has remained stubbornly high, and also the economy has remained strong. So one of the things the Federal Reserve is doing is the Fed chairman keeps talking about inflation and also keeps talking about the job market. These are the two indicators of the strength of the economy and if we're moving in the right direction as relates to inflation. Just to give you a quick update, we have had a little bit higher or hotter inflation numbers over the last couple of months than the Fed wants, meaning we've been moving in the wrong direction. So we have seen an uptick in interest rates. Interest rates were trending down for a little while, and then at the end of March started moving in the other direction and trending up a little bit. This past week, the first week of May, we had two things happen that are favorable for the future of rates. The first one is we had a jobs report come out, the BLS jobs report on Friday, and indicate kind of the weakest jobs data we've had in over 6 months, which is not a good sign for the economy, but it is a good sign for the future of interest rates. So that is an indicator that the Fed is going to be tempted to drive interest rates down over the coming months. The other indication was that the Fed came out in a meeting last Wednesday and talked about how we are going to stop kind of running off the balance sheet, which basically means all of the treasuries and bonds that they have aggregated in their balance sheet, they are going to stop the runoff back into the economy, which is a good sign for mortgage rates as well in the future. That runoff creates an oversupply of securities and treasuries, and that oversupply is actually harmful to interest rates or the demand for those bonds. And so that makes interest rates stay a little bit higher. So two really favorable things for the future of interest rates. I think both of those things last week do indicate mortgage rates should be coming down as planned this year. It's just a matter of what month that will happen. I want to take 5 more minutes to talk about this opportunity I see for buyers. As a buyer, I know a lot of buyers right now that I'm talking to are a little trepidatious because of interest rates, kind of sitting on the sidelines and saying, hey, I'm not positive that this is the right timing. We are seeing some additional inventory come on the market, which is really, really normal for this time of year. We do start to see more inventory come on the market. So there are additional opportunities or options for buyers to choose from. Additionally, I would argue that interest rates right this moment are a better buying opportunity for buyers than they were in early March. So I want to share with you why I feel that way and this beautiful opportunity or window opportunity I see for buyers. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen just to kind of explain what I'm talking about. So this particular slide is about buyer demand. So supply and demand drive price on anything, and demand has been the component that has been demand's been a little dampened over the couple years with interest rates, and it's made it so that buyers can negotiate discounts on homes, either in the form of a discount price reduction on the home or in the form of seller concessions, which has been wildly popular over the last couple of years with interest rates. Interest rates at 6.5% or lower is where we see the greatest amount of demand in the buyer community. I know our office experiences a considerable amount of uptick in activity that happens when interest rates do arrive at 6.5% or lower. So 6.5% is the threshold. Well, in early March, rates were kind of hovering in that 6.5 to 6.75% range. And then in the end of March is when we started, we had some hotter than expected inflation data and we had some stronger than expected job data. And both of those things kind of drove interest rates up a little bit to back over 7. We got as high as 7.5% for a little while. And notice that 7.5%, which is the highest rate um, on my graph here, that is where we see the weakest buyer demand. So a lot of my business partners have listings that they're putting on the market expecting, wow, this is a great listing, a great neighborhood, a great area, and this should be a wildly competitive home, but we're seeing less buyer activity generally because of the fact that we have weaker buyer demand when interest rates are as high as 7.5%. So right now, interest rates are higher. It is impacting buyer demand. And what that does for buyers is, if you look here at this graphic, basically this is days on market. So how long a listing is on the market compared to where 30-year fixed rates are. So I just want to show you that this black line is 30-year fixed rates, and this gold line is average days on market. This is data that I took from a gal named Megan Aller. She's with First American Title. She is our guru in the Denver market for all things data related, and she looks at days on market on a weekly basis. So I took her data and compared it with interest rate data just to show that as interest rates go up, days on market go up. And when days on market go up, that gives buyers an opportunity to negotiate a discount on a home. So when interest rates tick up to, where they were last November, as an example, we were approaching 8%. Days on market were extremely high during that period of time too. So when we saw interest rates go up here just recently, the end of March to current, days on market rose with interest rates because that's the general trend that happens. So then this sheet here, I'm showing my buyers, hey, this is what happens when you compare getting a loan in March when rates were seemingly a lot better. We had rates kind of in the mid sixes. We weren't able to get a discount on a mortgage quite as easily because we're at this 6.5% range or right around there. So when we see buyer demand uptick a little bit, our ability to negotiate a discount goes down. So when we have interest rates at mid sixes, I had buyers competing in a multiple offer situation, unable to negotiate a concession when rates were in the mid sixes, compared to more recently when rates got all the way to 7.5%. This client's payment is higher if they had to pay 7.5%. However, when rates go up to 7.5 and days on market go up as well, now that buyer has the opportunity in most cases to negotiate a concession. And the most popular concession is the seller subsidy program, where the buyer gets a significant discount on their interest rate for the first couple of years. So the first year's interest rate for this particular client, it would be at 5.25. This is what they can negotiate when rates are at 7.5. And notice how the payment on that loan for the first 12 months is $38.80 versus the buyer in early March when rates are mid sixes that can't negotiate a concession and has a payment of $4,400. So they're actually having to pay over $600 a month more because rates are lower. And this is something that is, a little bit easier to understand with this data, which is why I felt compelled to kind of put this video out, that although interest rates above 7% feel scarier and, you may be a little bit more trepidatious about writing an offer, the higher interest rates are a blessing. And you have to trust me when I say that these higher rates are not going to last for long with what just happened in the jobs data and the inflation data and what the Fed was talking about. And basically, we are going to start seeing interest rates come down, and it's already happening. So if you're seeing some houses on the market that you're interested in, don't wait. Get out there and attempt to make an offer asking for a concession, because I do believe the days of being able to negotiate a concession could be going away. The higher interest rates do provide an opportunity for people to be able to get in, get that concession, and save money for that first couple of years. And I do feel very strongly with the information on the jobs market and the information on the balance sheet that we just talked about. Both of those things are indicators of lower rates in the future. So getting into a subsidy program with a rate in the low fives right now is a great way to get in, negotiate that program. And then as a reminder, when you go to refinance that loan, any money sitting in your subsidy account is given back to you at the time of our no cost refinance. We do offer a refinance to all of our clients that purchase a home with us at zero cost, and you have 18 months to be able to utilize that program. And last but not least, I put together some data for every county that makes up the greater Denver metro area. There's 10 counties around greater Denver metro that are on here. And I basically just wanted to show, I have a lot of clients, because of higher interest rates, maybe thinking about waiting to purchase a home, which is understandably so. Mortgage payments compared to rent payments, there is quite a difference right now. But home appreciation is going to continue. We have had very strong home appreciation over the last decade, and I wanted to compile this data for folks just so they could kind of see what's happened in the greater Denver metro area. So if you start here in this 5-year appreciation column, you'll notice over the last 5 years of data for each county, what's been the year-over-year appreciation for that county. And notice how all of them are kind of in the mid sixes to as high as, low sevens. That's what our 5-year year-over-year appreciation data has been. The 10-year is just as impressive. So what this tells me is every county in and around Denver metro has experienced considerable appreciation over the last 10 years, which is a very long period of time. And then what's really fascinating is this is the forecasted appreciation data per county. And so you'll see, for example, Adams County is forecasting about a 25% over the next 5 years. This is wildly conservative based on historic data. So we're giving you very conservative data that is much, much lower than what's happened historically. I also have listed the average median home price per county in here as well. And then I'm showing you, based on this projected data of where home values are going to be going to, this is where home values will be in comparison in 2026. And then here is where those home values are projected to be 5 years from now in 2029, based on this data. And then the last two columns are, this is the amount that it will cost you if you wait 2 years to purchase a home. And this is the amount it will cost you if you wait 5 years to purchase a home. So even if there is a decent, threshold of difference between a rent payment and a mortgage payment, or your current mortgage payment and your future mortgage payment, as an example, couple things to note. One, the margin of difference is going to be shrinking because we can now tell interest rates are going to be coming down. These trends will continue. This balance sheet is going to continue to have an impact. The jobs data is most likely going to continue down the same trajectory of that increasing unemployment rate and the need for the Fed to reduce that federal funds rate. So if we know interest rates are going to be coming down in the future, we know that the margin of difference between your current rent payment or your current mortgage payment and your future mortgage payment are going to be shrinking. But we can also tell there is kind of a big difference in price of what's going to be happening over the next 2 to 5 years. So waiting too long, you can't outsave this market. You have to kind of act at a time that you can make the move. And what I will tell you is, although it feels like this might not be your time because you're looking at this mortgage payment with a 7+% interest rate and thinking, there's no way I can afford that payment. Well, the strategy that you should do is go find a house that you like, is in an area that you like, but you can negotiate a seller concession on that home, get into a subsidy program with a rate in the fives, and then refinance that loan in the next year or two when rates come down, take the money from the subsidy account and apply that to the free refinance opportunity. And now you've purchased at a time that you got a deal. Now you've got appreciation happening as interest rates go down, and you just bought at a really, really amazing time. So I hope this was helpful to explain why interest rates in the sevens is a closing opportunity, and it's actually one of the best opportunities to purchase a home. Believe it or not, the people that bought a home in 2023 in November, when interest rates were approaching 8%, those people hit the market at such an amazing time because they were able to take advantage of some sellers that were sitting on the market, without a lot of showings, a lot of buyer demand. So if you can find the next best opportunity to do that, it's when interest rates are in the, low to mid sevens, which is where they are right now. Take advantage of, there's sellers out there on the market that need to sell, and are just bring them an offer is basically what they would like to be able to negotiate with you. And so if you can find a subsidy program to get your mortgage payment where you want it to be and have it feel affordable, and then be able to look in your rearview mirror and say, I negotiated a great deal at the perfect time, that's the best way to buy real estate. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions or you want to see any specific numbers for any specific properties, don't hesitate to reach out.